That's it. Oh, you're so smart. Okay.
Our first speaker for this evening is giving his, what speech?
Number 5 and speaking to inform. What number's it? Like 35th?
This is about 150th speech. But we enjoy every speech he gives. Ken, and he's going to, the title of his speech is What Do Professors Do? Please help me welcome Ken.
Make the student life difficult.
Yes, what do professors do? If I were to tell you, a professor like me teaches 6 hours a week this semester, and most semesters only 3 hours a week, you would wonder, what do professors do? With all the rest of that time, you would wonder that, wouldn't you? It's not uncommon because being a professor is one of these kind of abstract professions. Everybody's heard of the profession, but nobody really knows what professors do. So it's not surprising that the other day I was at a party, Sunday night. I ran into a friend of mine, Selena, who's from Poland, been here a number of years, speaks with a Polish accent, dresses in that nice European style, but of course doesn't know too much about American education system. And at one point in the conversation, she said, Ken, I can't stay too late. I got to work tomorrow. What time do you have to be in at work? I look at Selena. Selena, I don't have to be in at work at any time. I have to teach around 2 o'clock. She's, that's it? 2 o'clock? I said, yeah, 2 o'clock, and then on Tuesday, 4:30. You mean you teach at 2 o'clock and then 4:30 and that's it? I said, that's it. Ken, what kind of job is that? That's a good job. I'm a professor. Selena said, I want a job like that too. That's a great job. How do I get a job like that? I didn't answer that question. But today, you're going to find out what professors do. And at the end of today's presentation, you might think, maybe I don't want a job like that after all. Now, what professors do, at least from our perspective, are 3 different things: education, research, and service. Now, education is my teaching. So I teach 6 hours a week. I'm teaching this semester intermediate thermodynamics and compressible flow theory. Do you want a job where you have to teach something like that? Even I find that hard. I look at this book, I got to teach this stuff, I better read it and study it. So for every hour I spend in class, I'm spending 2 hours preparing, even if I've taught the material before. So I spend 2 hours preparing. That means 12 hours additional for the 6 that I'm in class. That's already 18 hours out of a 40-hour week. And then there's the homework that I assign to them. Then there's the exams I make up. Then it's avoiding students who want to ask me questions. That takes a lot of time. Eventually, I have to talk with them. And that educational part of my week easily takes a half of my week. Then there's the research. Now, the research is what we have to do in order to publish. Now, you've heard the saying, publish or perish. Have you heard that saying? Well, which would you choose? Publish. Publish. Nobody chooses perish. Right? Who chooses perish? So we got to publish. We got to do the research. It's not like I'm going to say, well, I think this week I'll perish a little bit. No, we've got to do the research. What research means for somebody like me is to generate ideas, build a laboratory, instruct students to do the research on this equipment to get data that eventually turns into the publications. So a large part of my week is meeting with students, giving them feedback on the experiments they have to do, and then reviewing drafts of the publications that we're going to submit so we don't perish. And this week I was looking at 2 drafts from a student that took quite a number of hours to go through them, refine the scientific ideas, suggest things for him to do to improve the manuscript back and forth. But at the same time that we're writing articles for submission, other people are writing articles and submitting them, and they're sent to me for review, because the science that we publish has to be reviewed by other scientists to see if it's worthy of publication. So part of my research is reviewing other people's research. That takes time. But the research doesn't get done unless there's money to pay the students and buy the equipment.
Right.
That requires writing proposals to the government asking for money. Writing proposals means reading articles to get the scientific ideas to write the proposals, which takes up a lot of time. But while I'm doing that, other scientists are doing the same thing. Researching, writing proposals, and those proposals, when they go to the agencies, get sent to me to review and decide if they're worthy of funding, just as my proposals get sent to them. So a good part of my week is spent looking at proposals, and this week I was reviewing a proposal from a professor at Stanford University doing work similar to mine and writing up an evaluation of whether he should get funded. Large part of my time. 20 hours a week on the teaching, probably another 15, 20 on the research, and then there's the service. The service means service. It doesn't mean I come in and I clean rooms. Not that kind of service. Bring trays of food to me. It's not that kind of service. It means service to the university, sitting on committees. This week I spent 3 hours in a committee deciding which young researchers at the university would merit special funding from the university to do their research. So that's internal funding, and the service is to evaluate these people and see if they would benefit from money. And there were a number of them, so we had to distinguish between them and talk about this. I'm also a student advisor. In other words, I advise societies of students as the faculty advisor. That's service. And this week, the student organization asked me to present on how to conduct productive meetings. So I got my Toastmasters manual, and I handed out the workbooks, and I did an hour presentation on how to conduct productive meetings. And then today I spent an hour as part of the Dean's Advisory Committee deciding on things like tenure review, budget considerations, contractual arrangement as part of service. So what does a professor do? A professor does teaching with preparation, meeting students, maybe 20 hours of work. A professor does research, working with students, raising money, reading articles, reviewing other people's articles, reviewing proposals, keeping the whole research enterprise going. And then a professor does service, sitting on more committees than I really want to be on, but it's part of being a good citizen. Those three activities keep me so busy that I sometimes stay late at night, which is against my principles, to stay late at night just to catch up. And Friday, I'm going in when everyone else has off to work on a proposal. Now, teaching, research, service. If you think a professor just teaches 6 hours a week, then you might say, I want a job like that. That's really easy. But if you think about the time for teaching, education, research, and service, you might say, I know what professors do, and Ken, you keep that job. I don't want it. Thank you very much.